Welcome to another compilation of my 50-word reviews, a regular thing on my blog that I'm considering doing concurrently in video form. But before I make it a regular thing on YouTube, we're doing a series of videos covering everything I've reviewed so far this year. We've already grouped the Metroid series and licensed LEGO games into their own videos, now we're doing the same for the FromSoftware titles. Of course, I knew of these games' reputation for exceptional difficulty and vague storytelling, both of which sounded actively off-putting to me. But I wanted to give them a chance anyway, especially after Elden Ring won Game of the Year, so I added them to a long list of games that I decided to preview via watching long plays to see if I'd be interested in playing the games myself based on what I saw. Before I reveal the answer to that question, I'd like to point out that not only was Elden Ring the culmination of my FromSoftware experience, but it'll also be the big finale for this video. Most of my reviews are exactly 50 words, but Elden Ring gave me enough material to expand to 350 words. So with that said, let's get started. This is my thoughts on FromSoftware's most famous works from Dark Souls onwards. Dark Souls. There's no story per se, it just drops you into the world and gives you a goal. Unfortunately, the world itself doesn't interest me much. To heighten its famous difficulty, when you die, you lose all your currency, souls and humanity, and have to retrace your steps to retrieve them. My rating? 3 stars. Dark Souls 2. This sequel's events seem entirely removed from the original, unless Drangleic was buried in the flavor text somewhere, and this new scenario sparks even less interest than the first one. Like before, it's possible to be invaded by other players. I don't appreciate that feature, it's a most unwelcome interruption. My rating? 3 stars. Dark Souls 3. The storytelling is still too vague for my taste, but its environments make this possibly the best of the trilogy. The world is covered with ash, appropriate for the dying first flame, but that's not to say there aren't some beautiful locations, like the city of Irithil and Archdragon Peak. My rating? 3 stars. Bloodborne. Like Dark Souls, the story never grabbed me even remotely, so I have no interest in trying to master its gameplay. The world seems promising at first, but ultimately goes in several directions that all feel incongruent. Even by the end, I had no clue what had actually been accomplished. My rating? 2.5 stars. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Unlike prior FromSoftware games, the main storyline is discernible and consistently holds my interest. You're a shinobi trying to protect a young lord with some fascinating plans for the power he bears. The gameplay emphasizes stealth and combat based on throwing opponents off balance rather than whittling down their health. My rating? 3.5 stars. And now it's time for the main event, Elden Ring. This game tops almost everyone's best of 2022 lists and even won Game of the Year. And I dearly wish I could sing its praises like everyone else, but it really isn't for me. My expectations weren't exactly high to begin with. I don't like FromSoftware or open world games, basically for the exact same reasons everyone else does. But given Elden Ring's universal acclaim and the fact that the world building was handled by George R.R. Martin, I gave it a chance anyway. Well, sadly, no, it never drew me in. Yes, the land looks very nice, the bosses are creative, and each location probably has a ton of lore behind it. But the one thing the game never gave me, even once, was a reason to care. At no point did I care about the world, exploring it, or embarking on quests within it. That apathy started right from the opening narration, which, in typical FromSoftware fashion, bombards you with names like they're supposed to already mean something. Instead of getting me excited for what was to come, it just left me confused and bored. Even the central quest, your character's main goal, is way too intangible. Assemble the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord. Okay, what exactly is the Elden Lord? Why would I want to become it? Why should I care? Your player character is a tarnished, but just what is that? And what does maidenless mean? I guess a maiden is some sort of guide, but for what purpose? Unless maybe you read the flavor text, the game overtly explains none of that. If I can't even grasp the basics, then why would I want to explore the world more in depth? The things I genuinely like are few and far between. I like the inclusion of stealth attacks like in Sekiro. Melina is pleasant enough that I'm happy to have her as a maiden, and the music near the end is incredible. But if I were to sum up my overall thoughts on this game in 4 words, it would be, why should I care? My rating, 2.5 stars. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Elden Ring didn't deserve to win Game of the Year. If you love it, if you do think it's the best game of 2022, or at least one of them, I get it. It just didn't appeal to me. It's not the kind of game I enjoy. As it turns out, the only FromSoftware game that did win me over, the only one I was inspired to try out myself, was Sekiro. That's it for now. Even if you don't agree with my reviews, I hope you enjoyed them. There are more on the way, so feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more.